In a world where dreams blur the lines of reality, there lived a man named Ryan. At 29, he was known for his tireless work ethic and perpetual exhaustion. But lately, something far more sinister than mere fatigue plagued his nights. Every time he closed his eyes, he found himself in the same place, a hallway that seemed to stretch into eternity. The first time it happened, Ryan dismissed it as a peculiar dream. But as nights passed, the hallway grew longer, darker, and more menacing. He began to keep a dream journal, his trembling hand scrawling details of each nocturnal journey, desperate to make sense of the recurring nightmare. Ryan's days became a haze of caffeine and anxiety. His colleagues noticed the dark circles under his eyes, the way his gaze would drift to empty spaces as if seeing something they couldn't. But they didn't know about the hallway. They couldn't hear the whispers that echoed in its endless corridor. One particularly grueling night, Ryan found himself once again at the entrance of the now familiar passage. The walls, once a sterile white, now pulsed with an otherworldly glow. He took a hesitant step forward, the floor beneath him shifting like sand. The air grew thick, filling his lungs with a chill that seeped into his bones. As he ventured deeper, Ryan noticed something new. Doors began to appear along the walls, each one more ominous than the last. Some were made of rotting wood, others of rusted metal, all bearing symbols he couldn't comprehend, but felt drawn to nonetheless. His hand reached out, almost of its own accord, towards a door handle that seemed to writhe like a living thing. Just as his fingers brushed the cold surface, a sound echoed from the depths of the hallway. It was his own voice, but distorted, pleading with him to turn back. Ryan's heart raced, his breath coming in short, panicked gasps. He tried to run, but the hallway seemed to stretch endlessly before him, mocking his attempts to escape. Suddenly, Ryan jolted awake, his sheets drenched in sweat. He fumbled for his phone, desperate to ground himself in reality. But as the screen flickered to life, his blood ran cold. The time read 3:33 a.m. The exact moment he had entered the hallway in his dream. Days blurred into weeks, and Ryan's grip on reality began to slip. He avoided sleep, downing energy, drinks, and coffee until his hands shook uncontrollably. The hallway found him in moments of exhaustion, in the blink of an eye between subway stops, in the split second it took to change channels on his TV. His apartment walls became covered with sketches of the hallway, of the doors, of the symbols that haunted his every moment. Friends stopped calling, concerned by the wild look in his eyes and the incoherent ramblings about a place that existed only in dreams. One night, as Ryan sat huddled in the corner of his room, afraid to close his eyes, he heard a sound that made his blood run cold. It was the creaking of a door, not from his apartment, but from somewhere deep within his mind. The hallway had found a way in, even while he was awake. He blinked, and there it was. The endless corridor stretched before him, more real than ever before. The walls pulsed with an eerie light, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Ryan knew, with a certainty that chilled him to his core, that this time was different. This time, there would be no waking up. As he took a trembling step forward, Ryan felt the last threads of his sanity begin to unravel. The hallway had become his reality, a nightmare from which there was no escape. And as he ventured deeper into the unknown, a part of him wondered if he had ever truly been awake at all. Now, dear viewer, as you watch this tale unfold, remember that the line between dreams and reality is thinner than you might think. Every time you close your eyes, every time you blink, you risk entering a world from which there may be no return. If you're still awake, if you're still sure that what you're experiencing is real, drop a like and follow. But be warned, your dreams might just change too, and you might find yourself walking an endless hallway, searching for a way back to a world that no longer exists.